Louder.
All right, and we're live
All right, awesome.
recording. Yeah. Welcome everybody to the Trading Brains podcast. Today I am here with Angela Messina, our usual co-host,
What's up,
and a
guys?
special guest, CJ Nelson, one of
How's everyone doing?
one of our greatest friends growing up. And so last week's topic, what we talked about video games,
Video
Angela?
games.
Yeah. Talked about games, history games, what we liked. And then we decided that this episode would be um, kind of the episode to close off our first season of doing podcasts. And, um, you know, we're going to be talking about writing, creative writing. And we have here CJ Nelson, who is an aspiring writer. And, we're just going to discuss the ins and outs of getting into writing and, what uh, what all of us can kind of expect from getting into writing.
Yeah, man.
So
Let's
CJ,
get to it.
please introduce yourself. Yeah, and just tell us about how you got into writing and like where I guess you got that bug.
So I guess it all really started for me in really middle school. At the time, I really wasn't like a very social person, so I was kind of in this mode where I got into my head, and when you kind of get into your head, you get very introspective and very like I don't want to say in touch, but you get like more. Uh, you get like kind of in tune with some of these emotions and all these feelings, and I guess at the time I was very angsty and very and I really needed to look for a direction to point that. And when I started writing, I just kind of picked up a pen one day and just started writing, and just kind of words and thoughts and ideas kept kind of shooting out. And I guess like I just really got into it, and I felt better when I started writing. I felt better I felt more calm. I felt more, you know, like I was more myself. And you know, when I got into high school, kind of kept going. And I really didn't start off with like stories or anything like that. It was more like poems, lines. I mean, shitty punk rock lyrics. Like it was
Right.
never anything like serious. And I kept that with me in high school, and I was like, all right, this is good. Like I want to do this, but some people were like, play it safe. Just play it safe and don't get too into it, because there's only a certain percent of people who succeed in it, and it's a huge percentage of people that fail in it. And I never liked that personally. I always thought that everybody's got their own really story to tell, and you might as well tell it, man. It's really like it's worth writing or reading, or
You
you
didn't
never
like the
know.
negativity of people, or it's more like oh, you're not gonna make it, like the negativity in that point, or
Yeah.
just like people were just like, oh, you would never make it, and just being like really like closed off, closed minded, and not giving
Yeah.
you that chance.
Yeah, I think a lot. I think it was a kind of a mixture of both. I mean, that negativity
There's
really
probably a
kind
lot
of,
of projection too. It's like people who are afraid to go after their own dreams and they assume that if they can't
and they'll
do it,
tell everybody
they
else don't
believe
go
that they
after it.
can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody else can do it.
and that negativity really kind of hit me in high school, especially when you're later in high school when you're deciding what you want to do in life, you know. And then it's like the negativity got to me. I kind of just went into what I'm doing now, construction, and when I was in college, that's when I started writing my first book, the Forgotten Few, uh, a Blood Moon on the Rise. That's when I really started it, and it was really like a stress relief technique. And then I started kind of churning out chapters and chapters, and I had a couple of Ryan, a couple of other friends read it, and they were like, "This is actually really good." And that's when I kind of decided for myself that I was going to move forward with it, and I was going to polish it, and but
Because you
it's
saw that like glimmer of hope. Yeah.
I did. And now that I'm, I'm doing a story every week now, and doing whatever comes to my mind every week, and it actually really feels good. It feels good to get my stuff out there and among the people.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm the people who are listening right now don't know this, but I've been working with you on.
Yeah, you've been. Yeah,
yeah,
been
and that's
being
been really fun. And I was really surprised because, as close friends as we are, I never knew that you had been writing all this time, even back to since middle school. And my second question was, how long did you know that you wanted to start writing, and what, if anything, do you feel held you back from starting right away? But you pretty much answered that in your introduction just now. So, yeah, I guess move on to the next question, unless you have something to say.
No, I mean, just, I guess, I really want to say how much you've actually really helped me with the book. I mean, just editing, being like, because as who I am, I'm never sure if it's, I don't want to say perfect, but good enough. And to have you sit down, read through all 300 whopping freaking pages of it, and I'm like, this is good. Like, this is worth something. Totally validated my feelings and was like, and really helped me as a person to push my stuff out there. I mean, I really do appreciate it. It's
what do you
crazy.
consider yourself?
Well, it's because my opinion matters to you.
I would 100% consider myself a perfectionist, and it's really bad because I never feel like my stuff is good enough, no matter how much I edit it, no matter how much I change the dialogue or I change, certain details and stuff like that, because I'll keep adding or like taking away, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this could have been here, whatever, and it's frustrating to me because I would love to just have one piece where I sat down and been like, okay, I'm happy with this. I would love for that, but I know it's never gonna happen because I'm always going to
scrap it, rewrite, rethink how you write it. You're going to be in a different state of mind when you write at a different time. So
yeah, I mean the book that we're working on, that's got to be my
golden egg, your Yggdrasil.
9th or 10th draft. I mean, it's like I go through hundreds of times. I've rewritten chapters, changed characters, taken out characters. It's I hate that I'm like that, but
yeah. But I mean, I was like I said, I was really pleasantly surprised. I was like, holy shit, CJ has this whole time been working on something that matters to him, and I was like upset at myself kind of that I didn't realize you were doing this.
See, I didn't say anything to anybody. I really didn't. I mean, Angelo never knew. Nobody ever knew until I was like, hey, I kind of.
In college.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I kind of wrote a book, and they're like, yeah, you wrote a book. I'm like, yeah, here it is, and I throw this big ass binder in front of them. I'm like, holy shit, you actually wrote a book. I'm like, yeah, it's I didn't really get like public with. I was so afraid of people's responses to it.
Well, initially, I hope I'm not
putting out something.
You said we're writing something for yourself, right?
And basically, you're just telling everyone, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and any criticism is going to be good criticism at this point. But you're afraid if someone's going to be like, this is stupid. Why are you doing it? This is a waste of time. And that was that's probably why you took so long to get it out there and be like, hey, here's everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy you did, because there's so many people, like, do you know the graveyard is the richest place in the world? And the reason people say that is because the graveyard's filled with ideas that never were brought to life. People who have an idea and then they just say, people won't like it, and they don't do it.
And that's something that I would never, like, especially on my page, that I don't encourage. I say, if you have an idea and you have like, oh, I think this would be a really good story, I think people would be interested in this, write it.
Yeah,
write it. Listen, it doesn't need to be perfect.
Well, and then like you put it out there, and if somebody says I don't like it, well then you ask them why, and if they don't give you a why, then they're a fucking troll, and you can ignore their criticism.
And that's what I was always worried about, those annoying people that can be like, oh, this is stupid. Like, okay, why is it stupid? Why don't you like it? Oh,
Character
I
development.
don't know. I don't know. Shut up. You're an idiot. I'm like, okay, all right, buddy. Like,
Thank you.
like, trust. I get a
Hey, dude,
couple.
the best thing with that comment is traffic, right? It's like you got
Yeah.
you got eyes and people on the content. So
Yeah, man. Like, and I just get like, I'm not like. At first, I was very, any criticism felt like a personal offense. Like, it hurt me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then just
I
kind
feel
of,
you.
you kind of got to get into a mindset where it's like, people are just gonna say shit. Just gonna say shit, and they're
Everyone's
gonna,
entitled to their own opinion.
they're entitled to their own opinion. And you know what? For every one person that says, "Oh, I don't like this," there are 50, 60 others that are like, "I really like this, and I think this is, has something, something to say." And I get messages of people, "Oh, I don't like your story. Why? It's not realistic." Well, I told you I wrote fiction, so I don't know how
It's kind
you
of funny
can.
that you got that.
I am sorry that you cannot read
Yeah.
the fine lines.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It's sold in the category called fiction.
Oh, fiction. Yeah, this is it's not real, Oh man, it's just
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have a sort of mental attitude of self-love and like
Yeah.
whatever. You're not going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. In fact, you shouldn't even be aiming for perfection. You should just be aiming for whatever's better than now.
Yeah. And I think when you write, you like, I mean, it's kind of a cliche, but you write for an audience. So one, you write for yourself,
Mm.
and I kind of do believe in that. But also, if you do want to put your stuff out there, you're gonna have to accept the fact that some people are gonna be, dicks.
Yeah, well, with any sort of creation, right? I mean, if I've written music in the past, but not very much.
Mm.
And the music I have written, I actually haven't shared with anyone. So I haven't been able to experience that whole like, oh yeah, I put my heart and soul into this and it's out in the world now and people are criticizing it. But I'm sure that if I were to, you know, at the point that I start writing it, it would be for me, like you said,
Yeah.
audience of one, right? Because
And at the end of the
I'm not
day,
gonna enjoy writing something that I'm like trying to please other people because I don't.
yeah, exactly. And then when you're done writing it, and then, well, for you, since it's music, when you're done writing it, and then when you get the music and all the everything behind it, and you hear the final product, you're just like, holy shit, I made this. I made this. I'm fucking proud of myself. Like I fucking sat for fucking hours, days, weeks, just hitting like fucking lyrics, being nitpicky about how the guitar is gonna be played, but it's all fucking worth it because I did it. And anybody who says, "Oh, this is bullshit," or "I don't like this," probably hasn't fucking done it.
Yeah, they probably haven't created.
And you can say, "I created something. I added
Well,
something to
because
this
they
world."
wouldn't take the time out to comment something like that. They would be off doing that. They would be off creating.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Fucking trolls just sit there just like waiting for something that they don't know why they don't like it, but they just don't like it, and they're sitting there Dorito crumbs all over their fucking face, and they're just, oh god, fucking typing away. And you kind of just gotta ignore shit like that. And I know it's hard because
Don't look at the comments. That's it.
exactly, don't look at the comments.
All right. So back to writing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite aspect of writing, and what's your least favorite aspect of writing? Like throughout the whole process of it.
The whole process. So I guess my favorite is when I come up with something new, because I work on so many different projects, like just by myself or with people, and I got about at least 10 different projects that I'm working on right now, and it's so exciting to me when I come up with a new idea and I start it, and that feels great. But then on the other side of that, my least favorite part of that is probably when I hit a wall, and when I get like, it's like writer's block, I guess, and I'm just stuck, and I get frustrated with myself because I'm like, this is such a great idea. I love this idea. I want to write more, but then you just hit somewhere where you're like, well, what the fuck happens now?
Right. You're like, where do I take it?
Yeah.
What do you do like when you hit that writer block? Like, Is there like a certain way, like there's a certain like formula that you kind of like got around it now at this point?
Angelo,
Or it's just like
you
you put a
stole one of my
check,
questions. I love it. I love
or
it.
you put like a check, like a bookmark, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go back at this on a later date.
Yeah, like I have to kind of sit with it. There's no formula where I could be like, okay, if I, I don't know, let's say like, some people can do it with like Adderall and Red Bull, and they're like, okay, then I could write, whatever.
Right,
But
right.
I can't do that. It won't help.
Yeah, the use of external substances.
Yeah, you'll
In
turn
the
out
long
shit.
run, it's not
Go
very.
out for a couple of cigarettes and then go back in.
Yeah, like there's really no like process like to like fix it, and that's I guess what frustrates me more because it's not something I can like control.
Right.
And so I guess when I kind of hit that block, I take a step back, put a bookmark in it, and I'm like, okay, this goes into this file. I know it's gonna get done, but I just need to put it aside for right now, and I could go and work on something else. Because I'll be at work and I'll have random ideas, like random lines, random, like paragraphs, pages, and I'll just sit there and I have to type out something to remind me of what it is. So I wait for it to come to me rather than forcing something, because if I force it, I feel like it's not going to be good. It's not going to be as organic. It's like, you know what I mean? I just don't like forcing myself. Like, because if I sat there and forced myself to write something, I'd get really frustrated, and then I would just start, typing out curse words, just angry, just not in the place where I want to be to write,
Okay. Well, that's interesting because like I've heard from other writers who say that whatever mood they're in, they make sure that they write on a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, these people are content creators and they write blogs, right? So like they need to constantly put content out. But yeah, I was gonna ask, kind of like what Angelo said. Do you have a ritual for getting into a mindset that you need, or like what are the conditions of your environment and in your head that lets you get into a flow state of writing?
When I want to get into that mode and I'm not just organically in it, I really have to jump inside my own head for a minute. Like not even for a minute. Like I just gotta kind of. I gotta sit down, quiet
New York
room.
minute.
A
New York minute.
Yeah. I gotta jump in my head, and it kind of sucks because I ignore everybody around me. Like you could have a full blown conversation with me, and I just won't be present. And I'm like looking around, like I'm just in my.
You put like walls up.
Like, do not where I'm like I'm like in like an isolation chamber, and I just. Yeah, I really can't have any, like I swear to God, I think I have like ADD or something, because if something's like going around me, I'm like, oh God damn it, like, it's bad. I just kind of gotta put my walls up and kind of work. My wife hates it so much. Because she'll be laying in bed, and I'm like,
she wants attention.
Yeah, well, because she'll be like talking to me, and like when I have my laptop out, it's pretty much it's time. It's like it's working time.
Right,
I'm just sitting there in bed and just typing away, it's not paying attention to anything, and she'll have to like physically shake me to get me out of it. And I'm like, what do you want? I'm sorry, I'm like doing stuff right now. Like let me just finish up this last 50 pages or something like that. Like. But
3 hours.
Yeah, you're working on your shit. It's like,
yeah.
I think what I really hope is that like, it's not just all about the baby for her. Like she also does other shit with her time.
No, and she's like, we obviously we had to talk about it, because when I do get in that mode, like I'm very I can't see anything but my screen. And I'm like, listen, when I'm working, I'm working. I will like. We spend time together. We live together. We spend literally 100% of our time together. And just to explain to her, I'm like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. I don't want to be, as much as I love my job right now, I don't want to be a plumber the rest of my life. Like I want to be a, full-time writer, and when I'm trying to perfect my stuff, like I really need you to understand that, that's my end game, and And
Yeah, I mean, I'm jealous that you can do that. Just like block everything out, because I'm very unfocused unless I have a very pristine and quiet environment. So
I had to get myself into that kind of. I had to put myself in that environment, or I'm not like I'm not I'm not good. Like I really need to be very like everything needs to be around me. I need to have my drink right next to me. I need to have my laptop, and I just need complete silence. And then, I mean,
good luck with
if
that.
I'm in it for a really long time, like I think the longest I've ever done it where I just didn't speak to anybody and I was kind of like zombied out typing was probably about 4 or 5 hours.
Wow. Okay, so you like forgot to eat, forgot to smoke.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. And
cool. No, that's good. I mean, like, I think it's great to be in a flow state, especially when it's something you really care about. So.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it.
But so I know you said you're writing fiction, right? And
Mhm.
we're working together on Blood Moon on the Rise. But what kind of works are you interested in creating here on?
Oh man, I'm interested in creating everything. I love dipping my toes into new subjects.
If you have to narrow it down, at least like 3.
Man, I guess romance I like a lot. But I love supernatural fiction, like mythology, folklore, all of it.
Right.
And it's just it's I don't know why, but it speaks to me in such a level. Like if you look at my library, it's just like dictionaries and all this crazy folklore shit. You would think like I was like a warlock or a witch or something.
Yeah.
What the hell is that book say demons on it? What the hell is wrong with you? Like I read, I research, I love all of it because it's so interesting.
Know, like every single detail.
Yeah.
Because in different folklore, it's like this is how you kill a werewolf, and then this one.
Exactly.
And you could reference
exactly
in your writing,
Yeah. And like.
Should show that library to my mom.
Oh my god, your mom would have a heart attack. I'm not gonna do that.
She would.
But like, just it's interesting to like see and hear all these crazy like cool like just different legends, myths, like all this stuff. Like I was reading it's from the Pacific Northwest Native American like folklore, and it's about this witch who steals and eats babies, right?
Oh, wonderful.
That's pretty bad, right? But to kill her, a noble honorable warrior has to pee on her and she'll die. Like it's just cool, funny shit like that.
That
like
is funny.
just different
Why
shit.
pee?
Yeah, just like.
How is that cool?
So she felt. I
think that's
really
like
cool.
Where did the killing that witch?
Yeah,
She had to go into a golden shower.
Yeah. And she's gonna be like, "I'm melting."
Yeah, like,
yeah, man. Like, or you just like sick R. Kelly on her. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I don't
know if he's a noble word. But anyway.
But
okay,
yeah,
so that's like super interested in.
It's just cool stuff like that like gets me interested.
Okay.
Like,
well, I'm interested in seeing like what you have in store for like romance works and stuff. And I know you're working on a comic book series, right?
Oh yeah. It's unfortunately I don't have the ability to draw, so it's more of like comic style stories, really.
It's like a light. Okay, all right. Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't even consider it a light novel. I mean, they're gonna range maybe 15 to 30 pages. That's about it. And they're just gonna be like short stories that are like just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. It's not serious like Batman, Swamp Thing, Superman, like any of the like the mainstream comics.
It's kind of like I don't know. I've read a bunch of spin-off Deadpool comics where like he has to hunt the ghosts of like the 50, 55 like.
Oh
United States. He has to hunt the ghosts.
Yeah, all those like spin-off kind of weird, different kind of kind of things like it's like the What If comics, like what if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires or something like that. Like, yeah, they're very like out there like that, and it's just
That actually sounds like a cool concept.
more.
Wolverine being Lord of the Vampires.
Yeah, man, they did a couple runs. They did a 5-issue run with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I got one of them, pristine condition.
Nice. So, what are some current projects that you're working on that we haven't already talked about?
So, I got a working title, Piratus, Piratus Vampire. Basically, it's vampire pirates in the early 1800s. No, sorry, starting out in the 1400s and probably making its way back to like the late 1700s, early 1800s. Very different. It's a different concept. I mean, that one I'm having a little trouble with. It's a little. I mean, when I was a kid, I always thought pirates are cool.
It seems so like wide, like especially because of the time period. You have so many different characters that could be.
Yeah, and that's my problem. I really gotta narrow it down to a certain time frame, and kind of go from there with that one.
I could help you with that.
Hmm?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to talk to you more about that off the record.
Yeah, man. Listen, I could take all the help I can get. I love working with. I mean, me and Angela are actually working on a book right now. Working, no title. No title yet, but it's very Lord of the Ringsy.
Oh, it's called No Title Yet? Cool.
Yeah.
It's called No Title.
It's called No Title.
Starting No Title.
Yeah, and that's definitely a new one for me. I never really I don't like to compare myself to like that.
It has,
like,
but not just but not just Tolkien-esque, but like it has that Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but it's like
you're talking about different families at once.
Okay, all right.
And
so it's less like Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings, the story itself is like the classic hero story, right? It's like somebody who's naive and weak and is afraid, but then they go on this quest and they grow and become stronger, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah. So. It's different. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's different. But I had a bunch of stuff. I feel like it's too much. But,
too much? All right.
Yeah, man. It's.
You feel like you could just go on and on and on.
Yeah, and especially like I got so many like weird ideas that I'm just like, oh.
Where can you
shit.
Well, just share with us whatever you're willing to share, and.
Well, I guess the Vampire Pirates one. I'm really like me and another person are working on a historical fiction, Divided States of America, and basically it's gonna be it's probably gonna be a political commentary on certain things that are going on right now, but it's basically going to start off where the Civil War ends in a draw, basically splitting the United States down the middle. And there's going to be, up until current era, it's going to be the Confederate States of America and the United States of America. And there's going to be, it's going to go back and forth like political perspective in a way. And both are going to have their issues, and there's going to be it's going to be it's going to be an interesting book. We kind of know where it's going to end in, but, we're going to see. I mean, it's really hard to, I don't like to say I know where the book is going to end because it rarely ever does. It rarely ever just ends the way you want it or the way because the characters take you in such a different direction or, certain actions and stuff like that.
Or you realize something along the way and, you decide, oh, well, this is actually better than...
Exactly. And, you can never really say that, oh, this is going to be where I'm going to end it. This is the moment that it's going to end. You can get, a general feeling of how it's going to be, but you can never precisely say this is it.
That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, I'm really excited for that one, too. I really gotta get working on that one, too, because I've just been dragged in so many different directions with just
Well, also you have so many projects.
There's so many it's
how can you like
focus on one. Yeah.
So how do you go at it when you like pick one topic? Like, do you do like weeks? Like, okay, this week I'll work only on project A. Next week I'll work on project B. Or it's kind of like I'm in like this mood, or I'm in this mood. All these like from project A, all these ideas are coming in. Let me keep on going until I hit a writer block, and then go on to the next one.
That's more of it. So I'll have an idea about a project, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ride this out. And then when I hit that block where I'm like, okay, I literally can't write anymore, or I notice that I'm starting to write. I'm starting to not really write, but kind of just write bullshit that I don't know that I normally would never really write. I'm like, or I feel like it's not like what I want it to be. I'll take a step back and I'll be like, okay, but then I could have an idea about another project. I mean, other things can feed into other things. Like I could be writing project A, right? And then I'll get a line from project A, and I'm like, oh shit, that could really work well for project, I don't know, C or D or whatever, and I could just kind of jump. And I don't really have a set schedule. That's why certain projects get done a lot faster than other ones. Like my short stories, I kind of have to force myself to write a little bit, which I know is like not what I wanted to do, but you know, I force it enough to the point where it's not breaking, but it's more, you know, a little bending.
Do you feel like you're kind of forcing yourself? What is your objective of writing those short stories?
Well, I think to appeal to my audience, which is, I feel like is a little reasonable, but I think more of the short stories, I just like getting my content out there because I do, whether it's bending, I do get mostly positive feedbacks from it, and and they do like my stories. Like recently I posted a story, The All-Seeing Eye. I got really good feedback from that one. Everybody really liked it, and I felt like I forced that one a little bit too, but everybody really liked it. It was an interesting story about basically a hitman who can commune with the dead, and he's like forced to like, so I don't want to give away the whole story, but he's forced to see what he does in a very spiritual way,
which see the future,
not see the future, but have that conscience that he never had, like a consciousness about what he does that he's never had before, because he was able to do all these things without actually ever feeling bad or really understanding the ramifications of his actions. And then at a certain point he gets forced to see that point, and the story goes on.
Yeah. Leave it up to the imagination or those who want to read.
I mean, they need to read something because I can't keep giving away all my shit.
Yeah, you can't. Please don't. And in fact, like, bringing you on at the end, we'll have you, talk about your page and all your content, where people can find it. What advice, if any, could you give to people who want to get into writing or any other creative art who may just feel hesitant for similar reasons as you did? Or
well, what I could say is it was not easy for me to kind of just do what I do. It's not easy. It wasn't easy at the start for me to write, but I will always encourage people to write, whether you feel like it's good, bad, just whatever, just write. You have, like, I think individually, everybody has an amazing story to tell. You as an individual have a perspective that no one else really has. Everybody's different. And I think as a whole, if everyone started writing their stories and posting them and like posting experiences, and because with writing you have to whether it's fiction or not, you are writing a certain truth, whether it is like with my short stories, a little piece of me is in there, a little piece of my psyche or my emotion or whatever, and it's good, and it's a perspective that needs to be seen, because somebody can read that and be like, oh, I have had similar situations, right? But it was different in this way. And then once you get that down, you're opening up, I don't know, you're just opening up a whole connective perspective between people. And through that, it's easier to see other people's point of views and kind of just relate to one another. So if I was to say anything about like getting into it, 1, write for yourselves. 2, your stories are awesome. No matter what anybody says, no matter what shit people say, your story's good and it's worth telling. And I guess 3 is just, I guess, stick through it. Just kind of stick through it. You don't have to go through years of being not really like doing what you felt like you were meant to do because you were ashamed or you're hurt or you're the negativity all around it. I always will encourage everybody else to write. I really believe in people and their potential to just I hate to quote Supernatural, and like he's obviously a villain, but Metatron said that when people write, they become gods of small universes themselves. And it's actually, I believe that to be very true. And you can write your own little universe of truth in page form, in words. And that universe needs to exist because no one else will have that perspective but you, because you created it.
Unless you put it out into the world.
And who knows, man? Like you could be the next Hemingway, Lovecraft, Poe, and hopefully not as manic depressive as Poe, but I think people have such a potential, and it does hurt to see, people get their creativity or their passion be squashed by these trolls, these negative
External
people.
Social forces. Well, it's not even just that, it's upbringing, it's proclivity to be neurotic, and it's many different factors. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and just you can't let the negativity like get to you like that. I mean, I only realized that after years, and it's not great. But I feel like more of myself than I have in my entire life. Like,
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Good. And it really, like, I never thought I would get there. And I'm here, and it's nuts. It's fucking crazy, dude. But,
so you mentioned a few authors earlier, and I actually forgot to ask you this, but who are some of your favorite writers, or like who do you look up to?
I guess I was never read to like that when I was a kid, and it kind of sucked because I had to develop everything later on in life. And when you're older, it's kind of hard to like. It's more difficult to define your taste. So I kind of splashed myself in everything, and I guess I would really have to say probably Hemingway is probably one of my favorites. But I absolutely love the Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. They're just, I have the collector's edition. Like, I'm such a nerd about it. Like, I have it, and it's like on my bookshelf, and I clean it like every day. Like, I love it. I can't wait to read it to my son. But and then I guess after that would be Lovecraft. But I guess I don't really try to take. I guess it is an influence, but I'll take certain certain ways things are phrased or just a general feeling that they basically write and let you have, I'll be like, okay, I like how this was done, but I can do it this way, and I'll kind of like not bastardize.
Well, that's the best
like,
way to do it. Like you take something that you observe in the world and you make it a part of you, or like
Yeah,
you spin it in your own way, right?
yeah, give it my own little flair.
I mean, that's what most people are doing when you learn.
Yeah,
It's like, there's only so many times that something can be created, but whenever, like you said, if you have everyone has all these different perspectives and different life experiences, then what they're going to come up with is going to be ultimately different.
yeah, and that's what yeah, definitely giving it my own little flair is what
Pizzazzy.
yeah, a little pizzazzy just like a little, just because I'm not very formal, right? and I don't think people like that very much, that I'm not as like formal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess I'm just very punk rock when I write. Like, I very
Yeah,
just.
but I'm guessing like when you have to be formal, it's like when you're meeting a fan.
Oh, when I have to be, yeah.
But like, I think when like you're being in your mood, I think that you be as informal as possible and writing, doing what you have to do.
No, especially when I get in the zone, dude. It's littered with just spelling errors and oh my god, it's freaking atrocious. And then I have to go through it again.
Yeah, but that's why you have me.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, just I need to have somebody else look at it. Like, my wife will read she'll read most of my short stories, like, when I'm done and stuff like that, and she'll be like, I have to fix this, I have to fix this. Like, she's just like doing the, grammatical checks and stuff like that, and like all the spelling errors and stuff like that. I'm like, no, don't change it. I'll change it later. Like, I just want you to get the general vibe of how it's going, or whatever. If you think it's good, or the storyline's good, dialogue's good, stuff like that. The plot, I gotta fix it. Or else nobody's gonna fix it. I'm like, I'll fix it. Just eventually, like, I'll get to it.
Right. Okay, so you work on the creative part first, and then you want to like mold it, because it might even change. So like you're not even concerned about.
See, when you do a second read through, it's more like when you verbally, or when you literally shit on a page and you just like write out a bunch of stuff. You're like, wow, okay.
Yeah, because that's what it looked like to me when I saw your work. I was like, he was just like tack.
Dude,
like he didn't stop.
I was just typing away, dude. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, I've seen you have a lot of work.
Especially with the book, I was like, okay, I gotta come up with a system to fix this, like, to go through it, because if I went through the whole book over and over again in one foul swoop, I would miss so much stuff. So I just needed to take.
And it would just take a lot of time.
Yeah, I need to take chapter by chapter, read the chapter a couple times, and then just kind of progressively move forward. It's a lot.
So, I guess this is our last question.
Yeah.
What would you need personally in the near future to become a better writer? Do you need, like financial support, or I don't know, like a community of other writers to help keep you motivated, or anything?
Honestly, what I really would like, not financials or support, but life experience is what I really would like, just to be able to sit and observe all of this, because my ideas don't just come out of nowhere. I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that's interesting, but what if this happened and that happened, and then I see this person, well, what's her life like, or what's his life like, I would love to sit and
try to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Exactly, and just observe humanity, because it is, like I said, every individual is different, and they all have their own stories, and I would like to see and maybe write those stories, or see something that just inspires me, like just life experience.
Just continue moving, right?
Continue moving, exactly. And I think that's what the key is. I mean, with writing, you don't have to have. I mean, I don't even really think you need like a particular skill set. You just need to be observant and critical. Just see, not like mean critical, but like just
Not judgmental.
non-judgmental, but just like, oh, like one of my first stories that I wrote.
Perspective.
Yeah, perspective. Like one of the first story I ever posted was what was the name of it? But it was about, I mean, it's been out there a while now, so I don't really mind spoiling it. But it's about a homeless guy, and he's sitting on the side. He's begging for change and stuff like that. And you know, day by day, people are just belittling him, being mean to him, throwing stuff at him, just being generally just like that terrible, like, I'm better than you, you are basically street trash, kind of just that mentality was there. And then eventually a young boy comes, it's like the dead of winter, gives him some food and a blanket, and the kid is so happy with himself. He's so like, I did such a good thing, and he can't wait to see him tomorrow because he wants to give him food and stuff like that. And he looks out the window and he just sees an ambulance taking the guy away. I mean, and that was all based on one person that I saw in the city going to work.
Right.
All of that was just, I mean, obviously it's all more in depth in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
story, but just all that is coming from one person that I saw for maybe 5 seconds as I walked past. And I think life life is just teeming with great stories that you just need to observe them and write them.
Cool. Well, I think it's really incredible that you're able to draw out such, like, I don't know, creative plot lines out of just those small encounters. And
It's
like I said before, I'm glad you're writing and doing what you enjoy.
I'm happy I am too.
All right, Angela. I mean, I exhausted all the questions we prepared beforehand. Do you have anything else?
I just have one quick one, but it's more for where can people find your short stories or any new upcoming work that you guys have so that people can stay on top of it?
All right. So I'm not a big Twitter and Instagram guy. Just personally, I just don't know how that would transfer. But
You should be.
I know I gotta get on the ball. I'm young enough that I could function with it, but I just don't. I can't do it. But yeah, you can check me out on Facebook, c.j.nelson, and I'll keep you updated on I keep all my stuff on there, so all my short stories and stuff like that, and any other big works that come out. I have the links to my comics on there. I'm gonna have the link to the book that's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could really just check me out on Facebook. I keep updated.
And that's a
updated
page, right? Not
every
your
week.
personal profile.
Hmm?
That's a page, not your.
It's a
personal
page. Yeah, it's a
profile?
Facebook page. If you want to add me as a friend, go for it. But
Right. Yeah.
I guess yeah, no, just you'll get all my work on my Facebook page, c.j.nelson. And yeah, I post a short story every week. I try to post at least once or twice a day to keep everybody updated on the big works that are coming out. June 17th is going to be a big one for us, so you can go on Facebook and check that out. And then the next big work is going to be the work that me and Evan are working on, and I already sent out the big message on the page saying that we're getting ready for that, release in a couple weeks. So,
Right.
yeah.
Sounds good. And we've got our email, tradingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to be putting all of the episodes we've made so far for season 1 on YouTube, and I'll put your Facebook account link in the show notes in the description of the video, so that way people can access it easily. Yeah. All right. Well,
Alright.
CJ, thanks for joining us today.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. I mean,
it's been a pleasure. Thank
yeah,
you.
and I just want to say, guys, that you know, if you have a story, write it down. Don't let the moments pass you, man. Just don't.
Right. Yeah. I've made it a habit of like writing in my Google Keep. It's like a note-taking app.
Mhm.
And I just like if a thought comes to me and I know that I want to work on it, but not right now, I'll just write it down and then I'll just
Oh, dude,
leave it, but come back to
I
it later.
just, so many in my notes.
Right. Yeah.
I just have lines and just like ideas. Like if you went through my notes, you'd be like, "This is the ramblings of a madman." Like this is this person's not kosher in the head. Like,
Not kosher.
but yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, dudes.
Mhm.
It's awesome. It's a nice
Absolutely.
setup you got here.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you back. Well, I mean, we're always trying to improve. And this is just us working on projects that we want to do. And like you said, like no matter what people say, whatever.
Oh yeah, man. Get the word out there, dude. This is a great setup you got. It's nice. And I like the topics. It's not just,
One is
Yeah.
the general topic. It's just
Yeah,
basically
it's not just a
taking on each other's
Yeah.
brains and
and it's
whoever joins and just talking about it.
another thing
Eventually,
about
though, we might end up just like chatting about whatever it is that we
yeah.
want. But we'll mark those episodes and be like, hey, this is just us hanging out. It's not like us dissecting a specific subject or anything like that.
Oh man, I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, well, let's wrap up the show. Thanks again, CJ, for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Find us
Thanks for
on
having me.
Facebook, c.j.nelson, and email us with any reviews, positive, negative, whatever it is, we'll take it, because we want to know if people, not only if people are listening, but what people want to hear more of and less of. So you can email us at tradingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. All right, Angelo.
No, that's it. Just
That's it.
stay tuned for next season. And me and myself and Evan were thinking about trying to do something different instead of just doing podcasts and just talking. I think we're probably going to turn into just more video games and start playing some video games and just basically do kind of like this and just talk while we play some video games.
Yeah.
A little bit more informal than what we normally do. We're just testing the waters out and then seeing where it goes. That's really what it is.
Well, we got to figure out what we're most comfortable with, and
Exactly. But yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening with us, and hopefully for next season as well.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, friends.